Hello and welcome back to the Quest for Completion. We're on episode 17, I think, and we're finally doing True Boss Rush. A Nightmare. We're not doing Ruthless because we want to get experience orbs and level all of our characters up to 100 without having to go to Crystal Cave because I hate Crystal Cave. But you'll notice I've actually leveled pretty much all of my characters up to 100. So this is mostly just going to be a guide because I've done it a couple of times and I want to show you guys how to do it because there's a couple of cheeses that I know and a couple of ways to just do it a lot easier that I'd like to show all of you. So first up, True Boss Rush is a checkpoint system. Checkpoint 0, ignore that. But basically, you get a couple of bosses per checkpoint, and we're going to be swapping heroes a whole bunch, so I'm going to show that. But let's just go over everything. By the way, checkpoint just basically means that you get to that point, and then you can restart at that point as many times as you want. So, first up is going to be our monk. We're going to use him for most of checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. Spear of the New Kingdom. This one's really good for damage, but it also has horrible side stats, so it shouldn't be that hard to get one that is roughly as good. And also, I don't think this is the best weapon to use here, but we're going to use it because I like it. Little Wizard. You guys are not going to get a Little Wizard as good as this one. Or at least it's very unlikely that you do. However, consider the following. I'm using a Ninja Monk skin, not a Super Legendary Monk. So not only do I have less HP than you guys should, I also deal 20% less damage. So I imagine that should even out the odds a good little bit. But beyond that, our stats are nothing amazing. Oh my god, my hero boost is ass. Nothing amazing. Very basic gear. We're going to use this guy for checkpoint 1 and 2. Most of checkpoint 2 is going to be this guy. Actually, no, all of checkpoint 2 is going to be that guy. Next up is going to be our Countless. We have an Anubis Sandblade. Pretty good one, actually. Very good one. But mostly because of the side stats. The damage is nothing particularly spectacular. You want to have 100 block. Trust me, you want to have 100 block. Eye of Swiftness / Haste. This one is really good, but you can use kind of any DPS spec. In fact, the Eye of Devastation, not Devastation, the Stanky Breath Eye from wave 35 of the same map you get this one on. That one's better, but it ruins my FPS, so I won't be using it. Beyond that, we have the Ultimate Defender accessory thing that you guys should already have, and the Glass accessory set. This is literally just a carbon copy of the Eternal accessory set, which we have on our Squire here. The way you get it is by doing the Great Old One without armor, which I don't expect you guys to do that legitimately, because I haven't, and I don't think I ever will, because it's just really hard and difficult. But it's a carbon copy, so as long as I don't overuse it, I think it should be totally fine. If you're wondering, how did I do it? How did I cheese it? I made a video about it. Then my video, after I made it, like less than a day after it got patched, silently, wasn't even in the patch notes, really pissed me off because I spent 7 hours on that, but whatever, I guess. It is what it is. For checkpoint 3, we're going to be using our Huntress for the entirety of checkpoint 3. We're going to be using a very basic forest rifle, a very shit cat, and other than that, some fairly basic armor. Actually, really bad armor now that I'm looking at it, but whatever. Checkpoint 3 is really, really easy, to be honest, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Checkpoint 4, we're going to be using our Countless on yet again, because she's just really powerful for it. There's a lot of heroes you could use on it, but this is the easiest and most consistent way to do it, at least in my experience. And checkpoint 5 is going to be our Squire. You could use an Eye of Wreckage or Firestorm or whatever, but I find that it's better to do it with like a Little Wizard or something like that. So yeah, mainly we're going to be using him as a spin Squire. So you get a Honey Sword that's got like 100k base, ideally 100 block, and mainly just make sure that it's a weapon that's got 4.0 swing speed. That's the big thing for spin Squires. Now then, let's go ahead and start checkpoint 1. So, checkpoint 1 is going to be the first 3 campaign bosses, and they're all fairly easy as long as you don't fall asleep at the wheel. The first one is going to be the Demon Lords, 2 of them. They have a lot of HP, they deal a fuck ton of damage, pretty much one-shotting me because I don't have that much HP. And on top of that, they take a lot less damage than they normally would. I don't know if I mentioned that twice, but whatever. One of them is going to spawn over here, the other one's going to spawn somewhere over there. My recommendation, just keep an eye out for the fire pits and go crazy for DPS because you want to get these guys down fast. Pretty much this entire thing, you want to get everybody down fast. I recommend going in this kind of S-shaped pattern. Try and make sure you don't get yourself cornered. Oh, run away. And if you get them next to each other, that's actually kind of nice because it's pretty nice for getting a good bit of splash damage on both of them. And also you can stack up their fires fairly efficiently. Ah, run away. Just try and make sure that you stay fairly close to them because if you run away really far, you're going to encounter a big problem known as, well, they could do this as a starting point, but also the fires are a little bit unpredictable when they're far away. If they get into the sky like that, I really wouldn't recommend trying to just like fight them and thug it out because they have these homing fireballs from the Phoenix and it kind of sucks. Instead, you should already have one of them dead, so just go ahead and activate all those pylons and this guy will be stunned for a full like 30 seconds at least. It lasts for a long while. I would say that if this guy isn't below half HP, then he'll do an animation and get out of the stun lock. But, you know, at the very least, you'll get some breathing room, so it's not that bad. The first boss, you know, it's very fast, very easy. Nothing too much to be worried about. The second boss, you could do it on a monk. In fact, I think the best character to do all of these on is a apprentice because he has crazy damage. But I'm going to do it on a countess. And I just realized I don't have that much mana because I fumbled. It's going to be the mechs. But the big problem with the mechs is their whatchamacallit, these things right here. These missiles. But we can just hold right click and dodge all the missiles. And actually, countess is really nice for this because right after these guys do a spin and there's no missiles, you can get a very big fire pit going with a joust. And other than that, just rely on your pet to do crazy DPS. This is definitely where an Eye of Firestorm or some other single target DPS pet would be crazy good. But I'm too lazy to swap, so, you know, we'll just thug it out. Now I'm just going to wait for this guy to do his swing. Actually, he'll probably just die before that. Oh, look at that. And then I'm just going to wait until they stop firing those shots at us, and then I'll go in on this other guy on the right. So let's bait out a swing, and then go for a big one of these. And then just hold right click to dodge all of the shots. If you're lucky, sometimes these crystal shards on the right will block some of the missiles. But if you really don't want to do this and do, you know, you want to do it efficiently and fast, because it's not really all that hard, all you really have to do is just go in with, again, a mage and just run in circles. Here, I'll show you on the last guy because it's a lot easier to show. But basically, for all three of them, if you just run in circles like this, you can dodge their missiles super, super easily. It's just, you know, it will kind of suck if you get stacked on top of the missiles. You know, they will kill you very, very fast. For the final boss, again, mage is still, you know, apprentice with a good pet, good cat, and good weapon is the best way to do it. But I'm going to do it on the countess because I found it to be easiest. It's going to be the dragon. Usually the way that he works is he'll always go for this bottom left harpoon. So just make sure that you hit it and you should be fine. There will be harbingers on the harpoons, which kind of suck. But just do your best to have your, whatchamacallit up whenever that happens. Oh wow, look at that. He's doing an attack immediately. If you want to dodge this attack, my recommendation is just sit behind one of these crystals. Those fireballs do deal a lot of damage. And if you have Call to Arms up, it's not that bad. But if you don't, it's pretty bad. You can sit here blocking, but I find that it isn't too good for like being able to see where the boss actually is. Now let's do our Blood Rage, because we're going to go over here. And there we go. I think we hit him there. Yeah, just about. Now, wherever he spawns, go to his bottom left. He spawned over here. I'm going to his bottom left. Why? Because the only thing that can hit me here is his stank breath. His bite can't do anything. And if you're a little bit brave, you can go for one of these. And then whenever he's doing his stank breath... Oh my god, I'm stuck somewhere. I'm stuck in some nasty spot. You want to hold right click because that'll block the stank breath. But unfortunately there, I fumbled real bad because I got stuck in some spot. Oh my god, I'm stuck in the spot again. Oh, don't do a fire pit. I guess over here you want to just not joust. The joust speeds it up quite a bit, but it's not necessary. Just sit here swinging. Ideally you have Blood Rage going, yada yada yada. It's not too hard, but eventually you'll get the boss down. You might have to do a couple phases where he like goes away and you gotta hit the harpoon again. But as long as he didn't fumble in the way that I did here, it shouldn't be that bad. I guess this spot is the worst one out of all of them because of the fact that, you know, you can get screwed over like that, but or screwed over on this little lip. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay, let's go back to our monk. Oh. Ow! Now, I restarted on checkpoint 2. Definitely not because I died twice. But if you restart the checkpoint, you get a lot more time to pick up chests and swap heroes and whatnot. And you want to be on your monk. You might notice I swapped out my primary weapon to the Honey Spear. It's not really that important for the first two bosses, but for the last boss, the Krakens, Honey Spear does very well. But the first boss here is going to be 2 Spider Queens. These ones, they can catch you off guard, but they're not that bad. The whole gimmick is that you gotta kill their little spider minions before you can damage them at all. You can't damage them before you kill them. So having a pet with crazy big AoE, like the little wizard as an example, is very helpful on that. So my biggest recommendation for these, just try and go in very wide circles whenever you're fighting them. Trust me, if you can keep a wide circle while you're fighting these two, then it's a very free boss fight. Just keep going in big-ass wide circles and you'll be totally A-okay. Try to sync them up if you can, and keep in mind that the time that they're stunned for, the amount of time they're stunned for, is pretty long. They get stunned for a very, very long time. So if you want, you can desync them a little bit and just deal with them one at a time. And even if you're around the Harbingers like I am there for a second, it shouldn't be that bad because they don't deal that much damage. They deal a lot, but not enough to be super worried. Just try and make sure you're not around them for too long. And even if you get webbed for a second, it's not the end of the world because it'll only slow you down for just a moment. It won't slow you down for a very long period of time. It'll just cancel your abilities, deal a little bit of damage, actually a lot of damage. And mainly, it just slows down the fight because, you know, you get ability cancel. You gotta wait 20 seconds before you can activate Hero Boost again. Second boss is going to be the Genie King, but listen, don't touch the bottle. Don't touch the bottle just yet. You want to deal with the evil heroes first, because if you deal with the evil heroes on top of the Genie King, it gets pretty nasty. My recommendations, dodge the Hawktua. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, but other than that, nothing here is all that terrible. Everything else should die relatively fast. Now then, on to the Genie King. When you start out the fight, he will instantly spit out his minions, but your pet will deal with the minions perfectly fine for the entirety of the fight. If he does the double eye laser where it's like focused on you, just run circles around him. I'd recommend keeping your distance. And if he does that circular attack, easiest way to dodge it, just press spacebar. You gotta learn the timings a little bit, but it's not so bad once you've learned it. And then he'll spawn his minions and probably do an eye laser attack of some kind. This non-targeted eye laser is very free, just as long as you don't get super close to him. Just keep in mind that towards the end of its animation, he will start to spread out where the eye lasers are going. Anyways, this one just takes a little bit of practice to get down, but once you got it down, it's pretty damn free. Just try and keep an eye out for the type of attack that he's doing, because by far the biggest threat here is the Genie King himself. The Goblin Copters, they're pretty bad, but you know, your pet will deal with them most of the time, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. For this last boss, I recommend staying around this harpoon area. There's 2 Krakens. There's not many tips that I can give you here. Just try and keep them synced up in the same area and keep an eye on them. They're very tough to fight. That's the best thing I can say. Like, it's rough. Big DPS is big helpful here. So, we actually got a bit unlucky here, and one of them decided to do a Loogie right off the bat, and the Loogie was in a bad spot. These Loogies, I gotta say something about this. The Loogies need to be nerfed. Their damage is, I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not all that bad. The big problem is that they just have such nasty homing. And, like, you'd think they're hitboxes because they look massive. Like, you think, oh, it's just going to go into the ground? No, they follow you for a long time. It's bad. But right now, it's actually a pretty bad situation because they're not synced up at all with their phases. You might notice, oh, that's going to be pretty bad. The stank breath from the previous time that we had one of these guys vulnerable, it's still around. And yeah, no, the stank breath, it stays for a while. It doesn't deal that much damage. Like, it's a threat, but it doesn't deal that much damage. Its big threat is the fact that it stays around for a while and it slows you down to hell. That is really the biggest threat of the what's it called? On Ruthless, it actually stays around forever, so it's really bad. But on Nightmare, as long as you keep your distance and you keep an eye out for the Loogie spitballs and whatnot, it should be fine most of the time. But the moment that you've killed one of them, it's essentially free, because that means that you don't have to worry too much about staying alive and whatnot. Because staying alive against just one of them, not so bad. But 2 of them, really bad. These are the last bosses for this checkpoint. They're really annoying, but it really is just a lot of practice and maybe a couple of attempts. I can't give any good tips. There's no good cheese for those guys that I have found, at least. So just thug it out and you'll be fine. Checkpoint 3, we're going to swap over to our Huntress, because it is completely free. Checkpoint 3, there's like 1 boss that can realistically challenge, maybe 2 bosses that can realistically challenge you during this entire thing, but the first boss, entirely free. Like, seriously, trust me, you guys are about to see a slaughter from me, not from the boss. So, Forest Rifle is really nice here for all these bosses, because every single boss stays very far away from you. A cat pet, because, you know, cat pet, and skip the timer. What you want to do for the first boss is land on the dick. Right over that area over there. So go on the golden booster pad, get your free jump right here, and then just hold mouse 1. Every once in a while, you can do a little Hawktua. You might get hit by the side shots, but it doesn't matter because they don't deal that much, and most of the time they miss you. Just continue Hawktuaing, and you'll be totally a-okay. This is a very, very free phase. Seriously, like there's not really much to talk about here. It's free. Okay, that's all there is to say. The next set of bosses, not so free. The next set of bosses is going to be 2 Goblin Cupids, one over here and one over here. I recommend staying around this area, but you want to make sure that you land your Hawktuas and you are dodging really efficiently. When they start out, they're going to do this fake shot where they don't actually do anything. But other than that, try and make sure that you are going in kind of a weird, like, ellipse circle pattern, and you're forcing half their shots into the ground. Right now, I'm getting a little bit unlucky. Ooh, I got hit there. And one of them ran away from me. This is really annoying when it happens, but just try and go in a like weird circle shape, and you should be able to dodge most of their shots. I'm actually fumbling here by one, getting hit, and two, not being far away, but it's not that bad. Seriously, it's bad, but it's not that bad. There we go. Now then, the next boss is going to be the Phoenix. For the Phoenix, I like staying around here. Its hitbox for like doing the predictive shot with your red cursor is like underneath like the left side of its feet. That's the biggest tip I can give. If you're lucky, it'll be fast. If you're unlucky, it'll dive on you 3 times and you die. So, you know, kind of just depends on how the cards play out. But if you get lucky, it's not so bad. If it ever does the fireball attack, that is a time to get infinite damage because holy hell, free damage USA. But in this case, it just flew around a bunch, and as long as you can keep the hitbox, you know, in mind, it's pretty free. It's not too bad. Now the next 2 bosses, or I guess the next 1 boss, but there's 2 of them at a time, is the Omenak guys, and these guys literally just do this pattern for running, and you'll be a-okay. Even if they run away from you, you'll be totally fine. So just, you know, do the very basic stuff of do your hop tuas, run around in these circles. Use your abilities whenever they come up, and focus one of them down, because once one of them is down, the other one is free. Although I would argue that both of them are pretty damn free. The fireballs, not fireballs, the missiles are really like the only thing that can hit you. The spray of bullets looks scary, but it isn't. Like they travel fairly slowly, and as long as you're going in this kind of like oval shape, you'll be a-okay. There we go. That's the entire checkpoint. Ooh. And now we are on checkpoint 3. Here, I would recommend being on a Countess. Right now, I'm using the Eye of Swiftness. I can't say that this is the best pet. I think the little wizard pet from before is definitely, like, way better. But I like the Eye of Swiftness, so I'm going to use it. Your boss is going to be 1 big turkey and then 4 snowmen on the outside. The turkey, every once in a while, will do a jump, which attacks the entire arena, and kind of sucks, but if you ever get in danger, just sit behind one of these pylons and hold right-click, and you'll be totally safe. He's going to start out with a jump, so make sure that you dodge that. And as far as the snowmen go, just try and make sure that you land a joust on them for the majority of them, and that'll get killed. That'll kill one of them pretty much immediately. But other than that, just keep an eye out for the big man in the middle for his jumps. I'm actually going to abandon that guy because I want to go get a jousted on this guy. And that's pretty much going to be the cycle. We're gonna get 2 of them taken down by doing our jousts, and we're gonna get the other 2 taken down by doing our pet damage and our swings. Although certainly a joust isn't too bad. Although it does kind of hurt whenever you fumble a few things here and there. But as long as you are fairly efficient about it, it shouldn't be all that bad. And now that we're on the second phase and he's done the jump right out, we're gonna go in for a big joust on top of him. Oh my god, I'm getting hurt super badly. That's actually the first time I've gotten stuck on the turkeys. I'd recommend waiting until all of the turkeys are spawned before going in, because, as you saw, you can get stuck on top of them. But the big idea for this one is just keep a wide berth away from him, and whenever your call to arms is up, and right after he's done a jump, basically, that's when you want to go in. Other than that, just keep an eye out for his jumps, and don't go in unless you need to. Trust me, it's not worth it. Eventually, your pet will deal with the turkeys if you take long enough, but ideally, you shouldn't. So he's done a big jump, and now we're going to go in for some big DPS. Oh my god, he pecked me like perfectly. That was awful. If you ever get low, just go into a corner like this and heal the hell up. Oh my god. Just try to keep an eye out for the turkeys. Keep in mind, they will chase you throughout the entire map, but you're so fast that it really shouldn't be that much of an issue. Anyways, I'm going to wait for him to do a big jump, and then I'm going to go in for big DPS. You might be wondering, hey, why don't you get close to him so that your pet can deal crazy damage? And the answer, I'm just not very confident in my pet DPS. Okay, for this next phase, find a corner, and then hold right click. That's all you're going to be doing. The only thing you have to worry about threat-wise when you're doing this is the apprentice here, because if he decides to do a big charge, not so good. But what I would recommend is just sit holding right-click for the entirety of the thing. Every once in a while, these guys might try to heal, but in my experience, they'll always die given it enough time. This isn't fast, this isn't super efficient, but it gets the job done, so I'm not worried about it. And in case the apprentice does start charging, don't worry about that. While it will one-shot you, even if you are holding right-click, at least in my experience, it's not that bad because he stands still for a full, minute, and it's pretty easy to deal with somebody standing still when you have a joust. Anyways, I have my call to arms up, so what I'm going to do is wait for the sire to do a spin, or you would spin, or you would also wait for this guy to do a a hawk stance, but since he's stuck, we don't have to wait for that. Basically, just wait for them to do their big moves and then go in for a joust. Look at that, we have dealt with the squire. The reason you want to do the joust is just because it's a lot of DPS. I mean, a lot of DPS, and it speeds this phase up by quite a bit. Look at that, we are done. Now, at this point, your biggest threat is going to be the Hawktua from the Huntress. I guess it's a Ranger. But other than that, just keep an eye out for the enemies. If you can, try and get him stuck around like the corner. Oh, look at that, he's doing the charge. And look at that, he's dead because he tried to do a charge. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said the apprentice is very free whenever he's doing his charge. One thing I'm going to do with this character right now, the Ranger, is I'm going to try and make sure that I have my joust up for the next phase. Or not joust up, sorry. My call to arms. Because after this, we have Mischief and Polybius. Here's what you need to know. Mischief, he's a fucking dickhead. He's going to destroy your FPS. And also, he's going to be really annoying because he has a damaging aura around him. So once he gets near you, he'll cancel your healing. Puts a lot of fire pits everywhere. It just sucks in general. He'll chase you down. But as long as you're very far away from him, he won't damage you. He won't even shoot at you. Assuming he isn't already shooting. But Polybius, he'll just float around the entire arena, and that's what these pylons are for. Basically, whenever you do all the 4 pylons, Polybius will be vulnerable, and you can get some damage on him. But I would recommend, don't go for Polybius. Instead, go for Mischief. Get the pylons so that Polybius is off your ass, but go for Mischief, because otherwise, you'll have to deal with 5 Harbingers throughout the entire map once Polybius is dead, and it's really annoying to do that. So I recommend focus down Mischief. But if you're having trouble, do it the opposite way. Anyways, enough yapping. My call to arms is up. Only thing to worry about when it comes to Polybius itself is that his fire fist deal a fuck ton of damage. A boatload. Very, very nasty. But just keep... Oh, wait, hold on. We have the wasps. I forgot. No, we have the... I forgot we have the wasps. As far as the wasps go, just run in very wide circles and make damn sure that you are jumping. Oh my god, I have so bad FPS. As long as you're jumping, the vast majority of the shots from these little minions won't hurt you. And those nasty little projectiles from the wasp queens themselves, they kind of suck. But even if one of them hits you, it won't. I don't think it cancels your abilities or anything. It just sticks on you and does a lot of damage. So it's not the end of the world. My recommendation is to just run in circles until you have killed all of the little shit minions, and then go for one of these. Because that will greatly speed up the boss kill. Like, a lot. Don't do that if the minions are alive, like, at all. Seriously, it's not worth it. But if you can get away with it, it's pretty damn nice. And right now, I'm going to see if I can get them to follow me in a straight line. Because, ooh, they spawn the minions. It is a lot of extra DPS. But now that the minions are alive, I'm going to try and make sure that I'm always jumping, doing big wide circles, and, you know, that whole shebang. I want to mention that if you are, like, super skilled and you trust yourself, you can get a big chunk of DPS on the, the Wasp Queens right when they spawn in, at least one of them. The minions are spawned in, like, pretty fast right afterwards, so it's a tight window, but if you can do it, it's a nice chunk of DPS. Anyways, we are just about done with this. Not too bad, and we're on to Polybius. By the way, this projectile will just stick around for a while, so that kind of sucks. Anyways, make sure you take down the pylons first, because that means Polybius will be off your back, and you can focus down on Mischief. This is where the Eye of Haste shows its beauty, because it just targets him really efficiently and damages him consistently. So at 250 million HP, something like that, what's going to happen is Mischief will teleport to the middle and become totally invulnerable, and then he'll continue chasing you around as normal, except you have to deal with the, you're going to have to deal with the Harbinger that's in the middle area. And the Harbinger just kind of sucks, because, you know, obviously you can't get near him without getting damaged, but you have to get near him to deal damage, at least on this character, so it's, yeah, it's pretty bad. But my recommendation is just constantly jump around. If you can, try and keep a massive distance from, not Polybius, but from Mischief, because that will ensure that he doesn't aggro and doesn't place too many fire pits. And then eventually the pylons will go back up, and you can go in for big DPS. If you ever get low, just run the fuck away from wherever the enemies are and try and get yourself a little bit of healing. The healing, it's a bit rough during this phase, I have to admit, but as long as you're being relatively smart about it, it's not too bad. But yeah, just try and make sure that you don't take too much damage from that middle Harbinger, and get good DPS in on Mischief himself, because he does heal for like 250,000 HP every once in a while. But as long as you're like consistently jumping, you should be relatively okay. Just try and make sure that you're always moving on top of that, because if the fire pits land directly underneath you from Polybius itself, those fire pits are nasty. They're really bad. Oh, looks at that. He has teleported away, and there's now a Harbinger. I don't want to deal with the Harbinger just yet because, you know, Polybius is alive, so I'm just going to go ahead and deal with his little pylons. There we go. Our call to arms went down, which is a little unfortunate, but I'm actually going to take this opportunity, if I can, to just heal up a little bit. The shots from him are a little bit slow, so it's not super bad. And I would rather just get my completion rather than doing this super fast and efficiently. In my opinion, the super fast and efficient runs are best saved for doing this on Ruthless, because the rewards on Nightmare, they're good, but, you know, they're not worth sweating that much over. Anyways, right now, we don't have our calls to arms up, and you saw that fire pit, even though it only hit me for just a second, did a lot of damage. By the way, one really annoying thing, and I'm going to try and get them to fix this, and by them I mean B, because B fixes all the things that I don't like. I love you, B. I want to make sure that, one big problem is that your pet will target Mischief and also Polybius, but mainly Mischief, even though he's invincible. It's very annoying that he does that, but he does that. Again, hopefully I can get them to fix that. Hopefully it is a fixable problem, because it might not be, to be honest. But it's just annoying. You're just going to have to deal with it. The Harbinger sometimes will be annoying to kill because of that. And look at that, the Harbinger has spawned again. You might be wondering, hey, why don't you Joust to kill the Harbinger? It's because Joust fucking knocks back enemies. Knocks back enemies, yes. It's really annoying that it does that, but it does that. And there's not really much to do. You know, it's just, it knocks back enemies. What can you do? You just gotta thug it out. Okay, my call to arms is down, which means that no matter what right now, I am just focused on staying alive, doing my big jumps, and staying the hell away from everything. Again, I just want to make sure that I am being consistent and getting good runs in, even if they're not super fast. I'm fine with it. What point are we in the recording right now? We're 36 minutes in. That's relatively okay. I did die twice, so that makes sense. Now then, we should be able to get Mischief killed. By the way, you might notice that he's not spawning his little minion Harbinger in the middle anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It seems as though once you've killed the middle guy like 3 times, he just takes a bit of a break. And either he won't spawn him again at all, sometimes he just doesn't spawn him after the first one at all, but either he won't spawn him again at all, or he'll just take a while to spawn him back in. That, or I just lost track of time. Could be anything. Anyways, now Polybius, I think he's vulnerable because we killed Mischief. Oh no, he's still invulnerable. No, he is vulnerable. No, he's invulnerable. I'm going to cancel my call to arms because I want to make sure I have that up for whenever we get him down. Because what's going to happen is if you kill Mischief first, what's going to happen is this guy, once you get the pylons done, he is going to spawn in Polybius, not Polybius. He's going to spawn in Mischief. You don't have to kill Mischief again, but he will respawn him, which is really annoying. So I'd rather get him killed really quickly. But he's a stationary target once you get the pylons down. And as you know, stationary targets, they don't do too well against a nasty Joust. So it's not too bad. Right there, I actually got a really unfortunate scenario. But look at that. This guy's healing in the corner, and we got him killed really quickly. If you want, you can just try holding right-click the entire time there. But again, you'll have to deal with the Harbingers and the invincibility phases and all that jazz. So, I don't know. I can't really recommend it. Also, it's a bit jank whenever you try that. Anyways, right now, what I'm going to do... Actually, hold on. I just thought about this. The spasmatism... Not the spasmatism. The little wreckage eye isn't too bad for this phase because we're zoomed out so much. But we're going to have to fight the Great Old One. This guy got recently changed on Nightmare to be a lot less painful. But here's the gear. Funny sword. Eternal accessory set as always. Oh my god. There we go. And I don't even have max damage reductions because I'm lazy. And also this Eye of Wreckage is, is really ass. Now when it comes to the fight itself, I can't give a lot of great tips. But my biggest tip is to be on Squire, Spin Squire, because he just whoops ass. In fact, watch this. For the first phase... I'm just going to sit underneath and just do a bunch of spins because you can just tank it. You can tank it every single time, pretty much. You have more than enough HP. So it's pretty free. By the way, for some reason, I don't get healed to full half the time whenever that happens. I don't know why. Anyways, second phase, just do a spin on this. Try to time it a little bit more efficiently than I did. But other than that, middle laser does a lot of damage, so watch out for that. And do a spin to kill it. You will run out of Blood Rage relatively soon. Every once in a while, he'll do that, like, not attack, but he'll do that animation. I call it an emote. And that emote is kind of annoying, but it's not that bad because you get free damage for it. We're now on the final phase. I would actually recommend waiting on the final phase to make sure that you have your your Blood Rage up. But whatever. Just try and dodge those slams. And other than that, the little, like, arm thing that he does isn't too bad. Oh, that's a fire breath. The fire breath you can just walk through. It's not super bad either. And once you have your blood rage up, it's really free. You can pretty much tank like everything here, even like the harboringers and whatnot. By the way, this is where having a little wizard would be really nice, because what the little wizard would do is deal with all of the enemies, all of the everything around us really, really efficiently. Now we are back down to the bottom phase, except, oh my god, there's a demon lord. Listen, ignore the demon lord, ignore the fire pits, focus. Number one big focus by far, is his big footstems, because they'll knock you back really far, and they can just knock you off the map. And if they knock you off the map, you know, it's over. Just keep in mind that you have like 1,000,000 HP to mess around with, alright? It's not as bad as you might think. And whenever you can, try and get big DPS in on this guy. I wouldn't really recommend spinning in most scenarios, but if you can get away with it, why not? Anyways, let's go ahead and go back into the feet. Right now, we may not be able to tank everything because, well, we're on half HP. But it looks like it worked out perfectly fine. If you are on half HP, just go to the sides and, you know, try and make sure that you heal up whenever you can. But honestly, in my experience, that's very rare. Most of the time, you'll be able to just whoop ass right after the Demon Lord is dead. Second phase, I mean, pretty much there's not much else to say here. If you want, you can do a little bit of this. And fun fact, although this doesn't block the blue laser, the right click does in fact dodge the green laser, which is pretty nice. If you want, you can go in for damage during the emote, but I personally don't do it because I am not confident, and I'm very scared of a single hand slam. One of the few things that can actually like properly kill you here is if he perfectly lands a hand slam directly on top of you, that'll just kill you. Regardless of if you're doing a block or not, you are dead. There's nothing more to say about it. So, you know, try and make sure that you don't die from that. I almost got hit by the hand there. Okay. Now we're back onto the third phase, and this time, I actually have my blood rage up, so this should be pretty easy. Man, the little wizard is so much better here. Jesus Christ. I actually missed my spin there. Arms, just kind of walk into it. You should be fine. The only thing that you really have to watch out for here is if he does the green laser, because that does a lot of damage, especially if you don't have your thing up. And I guess the fire pits here are pretty bad if they stack up a bunch. Oh yeah, I forgot the mages spawn harbingers. If you keep your distance, you should be fine. Oh yeah, that attack right there, that one's pretty bad because it has knockback. More than anything, it's just because it has knockback. But as long as you keep an eye out for it, it shouldn't be that bad. If you want to dodge this, just do a little right click to cancel the damage from it. And you should be just about fine. Spin to win, and we are now back onto the bottom phase, where it cancels our abilities because God is fucking dead. I don't know why it cancels your abilities. That's really annoying, but maybe it's intended. I don't know. But yet again, just try and make sure that you're dodging the, You're dodging the jumps over anything else, because they are realistically, they're the only thing that can hurt you super, super badly. As long as you're not a moron and you're not staying in a fire pit for like a full 10 minutes, you'll be totally fine. I would want to go for a spin here, but I am very afraid of his jumps, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, that's rare. He actually did 3 jumps in a row. Okay. But if he ever does 3 jumps in a row, that's basically like that's basically him telling you, go in for big damage on my feet. By the way, his feet do have generic damage resistance, which is kind of annoying, but it doesn't really matter because we just deal so much damage. Spin Squire, big OPness. I needed a blue laser to start out with. That's really annoying. Blue laser are very interesting, by the way. One of the very few things in the game that just completely ignores the blockage of a sword. I wouldn't recommend trying to block this projectile fire attack a lot of the time, because although it does a lot of damage, to be honest, it's not worth risking getting thrown off the map by a double hand slam or getting killed by a double hand slam or, you know, any of that or single hand slam. It's just not worth it. Just I would recommend tanking it most of the time. Like in this instance, I thought he was going to do a double hand slam. He didn't. But if he did, it would have been over for me, you know? Spin is so nice here. If you can get a really good spin squire, you can basically just like one-face him for the entire thing. And right there, I went in for a spin on his hand. I wouldn't really recommend that if you're not confident. But, you know, you get to reattempt this as many times as you want, and it's relatively easy. And now that we're on the final phase, it is very free. We can just sit here and kill him because Squire is overpowered. Look at that. 40 minutes. 40 minutes for the entire thing. And you'll notice we get a bunch of armor. Actually, a lot more ultimates than I expected. You basically get 6 rolls for really good armor, which basically means you get 6 armors, and most of the time they'll be very good. Although occasionally you'll get poop. But most of the time it's like a couple of supremes, a couple of ultimates. If you're lucky, a few ultimate pluses. And if you're really lucky, an ultimate plus plus. But the main thing we're here for is the experience orb, because this levels a character up to 100 instantly. But yeah, I hope that was fairly informative. I know it may be difficult to follow what I'm doing, but I did my best, and I hope you guys will be able to do your best. You can turn that XP token into 100 billion mana. You can also trade them, so they're kind of a form of currency. Just keep in mind that you cannot use an XP token unless you have Ultimate Defender. You don't need True Boss Rush unlocked to use XP tokens, but you do need an Ultimate Defender. So, you know, that's another reason to go for it. But yeah, I'm currently working on a different video right now. It's a lot of script writing and then a ton of editing. But it's going to be a pretty big guide on just general Dungeon Defenders because somebody asked for it. Hotkeys, best DLCs, all that. I actually wasted like $100 to make that video. So yeah, but that's like 50 hours of editing or something like that. So that's in the future. But for now, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. And I have no idea what we're doing for the next one. But either way, I'll see you there. Goodbye.